This week's show is being brought to you by Marvel Pest Control.
Marvel Pest Control is a family-run business located in Deep River, Connecticut.
Their mission is to deliver exceptional quality service from start to finish.
You know, and at Marvel Pest Control, they treat every customer like family, and they treat every home like it's their own.
So for all your wood-destroying pest needs, call Marvel Pest Control at 860-692-8402.
Or you can visit them on the web at marvelpest.com.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs, your home improvement and remodeling podcast, where the two most entertaining guys discuss the do's and don'ts in home construction and in the remodeling industry. Remember that you can nail it, paint it, or just tune into the show. How about that? Here are your hosts, Colin Shaw and Jimmy Driscoll.
What's up, everyone?
Here we are.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Studs.
It's us.
You know, it's season 3, episode 17 now, Jeff.
Thank
17.
God you remember numbers.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Jeez. It's flying by.
It's like The Walking Dead, right? How many?
Well, hopefully it's a little bit better than that.
It is.
Yeah, all right,
It is.
good. Yeah, let's hope so.
Hopefully none of the main characters get knocked off.
No.
Well, thank you. Now I'm going to have to be careful driving home.
Unless we get eaten by insects or something like that.
You never know.
Well, we know a guy.
We know a guy.
We
Speaking of
need to get rid of
insects,
some
I got your
insects. We
back.
know a guy.
we got a bug guy.
Well, as you guys well know, I've been very excited about finally getting somebody on here to talk about pest control. So
Yeah.
we really do appreciate Mr. Fred Colby
That's it.
from
Happy
Marvel
to be here.
Pest Control joining us here today. Really appreciate it. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good.
It's a pleasure.
Anybody
you.
call you Freddie?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Do you like
Really?
Freddie or
I
Fred?
do, yeah. My
Yeah?
wife and anyone endearing, so it'd be really nice for you to call
Really?
me. So, yeah.
All right, your family.
That's
Oh,
it.
wow. That's all it took?
That's it.
Wow.
You invite me on your show, you can
Yeah?
call me Fred.
Nice.
Wow. All right.
All right. What an
That's
honor.
good for other podcasters
That's
to know.
it. That's right.
Right. You're going to be in high demand after this one.
All right. So we
Yeah.
gotta
I hope.
give him a
Yeah.
rap name too.
Oh, really?
Because
Okay.
we had Mosquito
All right.
Joe. We have Swata.
Yeah, we have Swata.
So
Yeah.
we got to think of something.
Something good.
Yeah. We have like a part-time rap career that we do.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It's
Is
kind of
there-
slowed
is there a
down recently,
podcast
but
for that as well?
not yet. No, there will be one though. I think.
I need to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you guys
Absolutely
can't-
not.
No, you don't.
Something off the cuff?
No, we're the worst white guys to
The
do
worst
rap.
white rappers.
That's for sure. Even though we got Caleb over here, who's a huge Wu-Tang fan.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh, he loves
Yeah,
Wu-Tang. He's
yeah.
got it all over stickers. He's got stickers all over
Yeah,
his
yeah.
computer.
Yeah,
he
he's
does.
crazy.
I see
He's
that.
nuts,
He's,
man.
he's a crazy man over
But
there.
he's got the
Yeah.
great. He's got the greatest rap name though.
Yeah.
Juicy Swirl.
Juicy
Oh, that's
Squirrel.
hot. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
good.
I'm
Yeah.
Papa D.
Yeah.
And listen to this one over here. Good, tell him.
You know what? I'm thinking of changing it.
I think you should.
So it's vanilla milkshake.
Awful.
Okay.
Get rid of it.
man.
But now I'm thinking maybe cream of mushroom.
Shut up.
Oh, my
Come on,
God.
how's that?
Stop.
What?
Stop.
Horrible.
What?
Stop.
Mushroom, fun guy.
my God.
Come on, you know.
Oh God, hit him with an
No,
old shoe.
he's hitting on the psychedelic. I get it.
You got it right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
not
That's what I'm
bad.
saying.
Mind.
All right. Listen, then I'm going back to vanilla milkshake. See, now you like it.
Mushroom.
Now you
Oh
like
my
the name
God.
because you hate the other one so
Oh
much.
my God, Famunda. Jeez.
From under
From under
yourself.
cheese.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of that.
Oh, that was fun.
Well, thanks for coming. Listen to the show.
I'm calling for order in here.
Fred
right
Colby,
Yeah.
Marvel
Order
Pest
and
Control.
Thank
Got a
you.
lot of questions. He's got a lot of answers, and there's
Yes.
a lot of things that I need answered.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
It's
Me
going
too.
to back me and give me some more education because I always
Hopefully.
need it. Right?
I deal with that every day. Every time I go out to a customer's house, they ask me tons of questions.
Sure.
Yep.
And I try to inform them as best I can, give them all the information.
Good.
Nice.
A lot of times I'll even just do it yourself. If it's something easy, I'll just give them a do it yourself tip.
Yep.
Tell them something buy over the counter that'll solve their issue. So
All right.
yeah. you
Well, let's
guys
start
got
off and
questions?
find out how'd you get into this business?
I got in the pest control business because as a 3-year-old child
Ooh.
outside with all the ants. Now what happened was I
Magnifying
was doing,
glass too and all? Yeah, all
I
right,
did
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I
Bottom
used it
up.
to light my first cigarette at 10 years old because my house had no lighters.
Oh wow. All right.
The real way it started is I was building a website for the owner of Guardian Pest Control in
Okay.
Deep River. I was doing web design and development, and he needed a sales guy. And prior to doing web design, I owned my own business consulting firm, and I did a lot of stuff with sales.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, I know a sales guy, me. And one thing led to another, and I started doing the sales for him.
Okay.
Then I got completely certified, and I just fell in love with bugs and the technical side of it. I read so many books and just found out more and more about every insect there is. And
Yeah.
just got a bunch of certifications and loved it.
Now, are there classes that you can take?
There are. You actually have to because
Yep.
it's highly regulated. So our in Connecticut we've got the Connecticut DEP, and then they answer to the federal EPA. So it's super regulated.
Yep.
And so in order to apply a pesticide, you have to get what's called the junior applicator's license.
Okay.
That's easy to get. It's common sense.
Okay.
But to get a supervisor license, that's what stops you from being able to start your own company. So in order to do that, it's 1 hour and a half per category, and then after you pass the written, you go to the verbal.
Okay.
In front of 3 DEP members.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And they
wow,
shoot
that's-
out
Dude,
the
this
license.
all goes back from the DDT, way
Yeah.
back in the 60s.
Yeah.
It for sure it does.
Yep, that's why
And
so strict.
chloridane and all that.
Yep.
Tons of people used to get a bunch of stuff and just dump it out into the environment.
Sure.
And then they
Yep.
passed the FIFA Act, which was, we got to put a lid on all these fungicides, insecticides, rodenticides, and we need to regulate this because people were just using so much, and then when they had the leftovers, dumping it in their garbage or in their yard
Sure.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they needed to regulate it, and so that's why. Now it's a little more difficult to get the certification. About
I would imagine.
70% of people that take the test fail their first time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I took 3
Okay.
at once.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Jeez.
there for 4 hours.
Ugh.
I passed 2 and failed 2, and I went back a week later and passed the other 2.
Really?
Yeah,
Tough questions, huh?
yeah, they are very tough. And calculations with the wood-destroying insects, you have to know, how much product to use, size of the house, all that stuff. You get that
Man.
wrong, and yeah, it's a bit tough.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good thing.
it's a very
great
good
thing.
You know?
Yeah,
It's a great thing.
yeah, because I mean,
So-
you think of something like landscaping. Anyone who's got a lawnmower can start a landscaping business.
True.
Imagine if that was the case with pesticides.
Right.
Anyone could get pesticides. Anyone could start a company, and then they don't really read the label,
Yeah.
and they don't apply it properly.
Well, the sad part is home improvements. You don't need a class either.
Yeah.
All you need is $220,
That-
and you can become a home remodeler.
Hey, listen, that might be my
Dealing
next
with
venture.
structural stuff and everything
Yeah.
else that these people just don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. So it's good that they do regulate for you,
Absolutely.
and it also keeps some of the riffraff out of the way for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure,
know?
for sure. And the key thing that they want to point out is the label is the law. So a label on any pesticide, whether you buy it at Lowe's or Home Depot, Ace Hardware, or buy it from my distributor, the label is the law. And if the end consumer, the homeowner, doesn't read the label properly and they apply it, misapply it, A, it could be bad for the earth. It could be bad for their pets, their kids, and B, it could just not work.
Sure. Right.
You know,
Yeah. There's
and-
that. There's that too.
And then they get frustrated. What the heck? This product isn't working.
Right.
So
Right.
always read the label.
Always read the label.
Always read the label.
Yes.
Wow.
Important.
It's very important.
Wow.
Yes.
I just lost my train of thought. I just
Uh-oh.
got so involved in what he was doing. But it has come such a long way, the pest control business, where it was
Sure.
before. And I think that's really great. Is your insurance really high? Do you have high insurance?
Yeah, mine currently isn't because I just started my own business, but the business I was working for before absolutely was.
Yeah, I'm just feel like for
Just because of the
insurance
size.
cases.
Yeah,
The size of it,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Now it goes based off of what you make. So next year my insurance will go higher.
I
But
know.
yes, generally speaking, it's high because a lot of especially when you're dealing with structural pests. You're dealing with
Yeah.
stuff that are destroying homes, and so the liability's high. If you're getting in attics that don't have walkable floors, you need that liability for that.
Yeah.
So, and then also injecting termiticide into soil or drilling into structures to treat.
Mm-hmm.
So any of that, yeah. So
Yeah.
insurance is a bit.
What is your most invasive species as far as insects go?
Invasive, or
rodents.
are you talking about the ones that bother? Because invasive it's not normal to this climate, not normal to this region. Are you talking the one I have the most calls for?
That's it. What's
Okay.
the most common?
Sorry, I don't mean to correct you. Listen, I'm a
just-
dumb person too.
Well, let's put our heads together, make a tremendous ass out of it.
That's it. So what we do, it depends on the season. Right now, mice
Mice,
and,
yeah.
and rats, moles, anything that wants to come in, stink bugs. When it
What's
gets
with the
cold-
stink bugs?
No, I want to talk about.
That's an invasive species. That wasn't originally
There
in
I go.
America.
There my
that
question.
came from Asia. Yeah,
Did it?
Yeah, no good.
Bastards. They're everywhere.
They
Everyone's
are.
complaining this year.
Brown
Really?
marmalade, yeah. What happened was they started in the warmer regions like Florida and Texas and all those areas, and as it gets warmer, they moved up and they adapt. But the reason why they're coming in is because they'll die if they don't. And
So they're working their way into the house.
they come in the fall, and they go into like a low state of activity.
Right.
So they're just trying to find a crack or crevice, hang out, lay low, and they produce a chemical that's almost like an antifreeze. They don't take water in. They're not breeding in your house. They're not laying eggs in your house. They're just going to stay in one
Survive.
spot. That's it. Survive. And then when spring comes around, they want to get back outside because that's where they live. They eat the trees.
What do they?
Yeah.
They eat leaves. Is that
Yeah,
what
they eat
do?
the leaves. Yeah, they destroy them.
But do they stink?
They stink if you mess with them. You try to
step on them.
vacuum them up. It's a defensive mechanism. So they don't stink just by standing there walking around. No, I pick them up all the time. They don't stink.
Yeah, I've never really smelt a stink bug. You smelled
Vacuum them. Vacuum them up, and then smell
Come on,
your
Jimmy.
vacuum bag.
Come on, Jimmy, do it.
I could get you some.
one? No, thanks, brother.
In fact, he's got some right outside.
There is a ton. They like to come in through doors and windows. So my recommendation always is at the end of the season, take your air conditioners out immediately. As soon as it starts getting cold, take them out. Put your storms in if you're going to put storms in. If you're not, keep your windows closed. Seal them up real good. If you have any cracks or crevices, get them sealed off because that's how they're coming in. They need something less than an eighth of an inch.
Really?
So,
That's
yeah.
it, huh? Wow.
So keep your doors.
They do freak people out.
Yeah,
That's
well,
just-
it's because they fly. My wife hates them. They sound like little drones when they're flying. It freaks her the hell out. And I told her, I look at it as our winter pets. I did a blog on this, actually. They're just here for the winter. They're just hanging out. Don't kill them. Don't hurt them. And then when spring comes along, open your doors, open your windows, shoo them
And they
out.
go right on out.
They go right out.
we had a frog. I had a frog
Oh,
in the
Jesus.
freaking frog came in. A toad.
Yeah.
It's not like a leopard frog, because then it'd be. And I hear, oh my God!
Oh, yeah.
What? You got a frog in the hallway. So what? It's a frog.
It's a frog.
It's just a frog.
Yeah.
Ain't a snake.
And snake. They'll come up through your toilets.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've heard
Through the
that.
toilet.
I've heard that.
Up.
Yeah.
I had a customer
Wait a minute.
just,
Whoa.
just a week ago, actually, that reached
How?
out to me.
How?
Hey, listen, I don't know how some bad plumber. I have no idea. I'm not a plumber. All
They
I
got to
know
be
is they
coming through
come
the
up.
leaching field. They
Yeah,
got to
I
get
would
that
imagine
way.
so.
Yeah, they find a way.
Because she had a frog first, and she called me. She's like, I got a frog on my toilet seat. And I said,
Like, what kind of a frog?
Yeah.
Was it one of those, like, the peepers, or was it like a
she
real
said
frog?
she said it was a tree frog.
Had to be.
That's what she said. So I said, all right. I didn't go out. I said, all right, well, keep me posted on that. And then a week later, she calls me and says, now there's a snake in my toilet. And I said, you should call your.
How old's the
plumber.
house, though? How old's the house?
It's ancient. It's a New
Old
England home.
house.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
so it's
Yeah,
coming
so
through
it's
the
old.
stone wall.
It's coming through
the
something.
basement. Yeah. It
Yeah.
ain't coming through the toilet.
I go through a ton of houses where I see snake skins in their basement all
Yep.
the time.
Oh, sure. I bet.
Yep.
I tell them keep them. They're good for
Yeah,
your
they're
rodents.
getting rid of the
Yeah.
they're getting rid of the
They do.
mice.
Yeah.
Mice. This is their season right now.
Yeah, they're trying to get in.
They're coming in, not
Yeah.
trying. They'll come in. All they need is a half. A rat only needs a half inch. A mouse needs a 1/4 inch gap.
Yep.
And they like to come in through garages. They like to
All the
come
time.
in the corners of homes. If you got an old stone and mortar foundation, I
Forget
mean, there's just so many spots that they could come in.
Now, what works to keep them out? I mean, I've seen those things that you can plug in that make that noise that supposedly keeps them away. I
So
didn't see that
let me
work.
tell everyone right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do not buy those.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
The actually the EPA did a 6-month investigation on these, and there's a class action lawsuit going out.
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah, people
Okay.
are being taken advantage of.
Snake
Sure.
oil.
Sure.
Snake oil.
It's snake oil, 100%.
Yeah. I
So
knew-
what
I
they
knew
did
that.
is they took all of them on the market and they did a 6-month study for any pest that it said it worked for, and so bed bugs, ants, mice, whatever, and they did all kinds of studies. Bed bugs were living in them. Cockroaches were living in them. Ants were hanging out right next to them. Mice were going right next to them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's an ultrasonic. It doesn't matter if it's a ultra low sound. None of them work. They're
of them
all
work.
snake oil.
Okay.
Don't spend the money.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yep.
I knew it.
Yeah. Rutgers University. Go on their website. You can read
Click,
all
click,
about it.
All right.
click, click. That's all you get. Click,
So,
click.
so we're talking mousetraps.
Yeah. Mousetraps is fantastic. The old school Victor snap traps. Those are what I use.
Yeah.
Putting them in the important places. So,
Right.
when
Which is?
runways of rodents. A lot of times are going to be your sill plate. If you got a Bilco door and you don't have a secondary door, they can. I mean, the door of the Bilco is wide open. That's
Sure it
a,
is.
a
Yeah.
perfect path for them. And then they hit that sill plate and they just go along that whole sill. They could crawl on pipes, plumbing, any plumbing that goes from the base. So they work from the basement up. So they'll go up through your kitchen plumbing. They'll go up through your bathroom plumbing. So what I do when I go out and do an exclusion for rodents is I first start in the basement. I look at any of the entry points that I could see. I turn off all the lights. I block off all the windows, and I look for any daylight coming in through any cracks.
All right, smart, yep.
Seal them up with some copper mesh, or stainless steel mesh. Do a little bit of foam so it's a mingle of the two because they'll chew through the foam otherwise.
Yep.
And block as many of those off. And then I seal up all the utility pipes going up into the main floor. Because if I could keep them out of the main area, people aren't going to see them.
Sure.
Maintain knock down the population in the basement. And then you do something on the exterior to keep them from coming in. There's a good repellent called Propel that I like to use. It's all natural, cedarwood oil, peppermint oil, and I think they sell it to end homeowners too. So
okay.
Yeah, it's really good. I know they sell the cups. They have cups of Propel, and those work well for closets and little areas. But the key is finding the entry points. And rodents and mammals, if you wipe your forehead, you feel grease. It's called sebum. Mice release it purposefully and in a lot more than we do. And they leave that as like breadcrumbs. This is where we go. Because they're multi-generational. The parents hang out with the kids, and they say, go this way. And if you look up on a sill plate, you'll see that blackish, brownish streak, and that's what that is.
That's what that is.
And so if I'm looking there, I see that, I'm going to put and it's usually at the corners, I'm going to put a snap trap on each corner.
Okay.
They're going to get caught. Sometimes I'll zip tie a snap trap to a pipe.
Okay.
Not a hot water pipe, but like a PVC pipe or something, because they climb. Those they're acrobats. They'll climb a 2-story vertical if they have to.
Sorry, Jimmy, one question.
Yeah.
What's the bait you use?
Peanut butter.
Yeah, that's what I've used too.
Unless my client is allergic. If they're allergic, then I'll use. I'll ask them if they're allergic to cheese. If they're not, I'll use some Cheese Whiz. Cheese is not good. Cheese Whiz is okay. Otherwise, I'll use like a all-natural lure that's sold. It's just high protein.
Okay.
But peanut butter is the best for a
what I've
couple
used.
reasons.
Yeah.
The oil is fantastic. Doesn't dry out. Doesn't freeze. It
Yeah.
lasts really long. The scent, it's really powerful.
Yeah.
And mice are curious, and they're going to smell that, head right for it. So
Right.
if you're not allergic to peanut butter, peanut butter. If you're allergic to peanut butter, ask them if they're allergic to almond butter. If not, use almond butter.
Okay. Almond butter.
Good.
Do you have customers who want you to put in have-a-heart traps?
I have.
Catch them?
Yeah.
Go somewhere else?
Yeah, I do.
Like
And
miles
I
away.
do. Here's the thing about that. So I explained to them they spread diseases. And so they're fecal matter. As they crawl on your countertops where you eat, they're pissing and pooping.
Yeah,
That's just what they do.
Yeah, because they don't have any.
Right.
They just go.
You're going to get dysentery. You're going to get sick. Rats, they carry the flea that causes the plague. So in Connecticut, there's certain ones you can kill, and there's certain ones that you can have a heart for, and there's certain ones that you can't have a heart for. And rats are one of those. You have to kill them. You can't transplant them because they're just they take over and they cause diseases. So you need to kill them. As far as with the mice having a heart, I mean, I tell them it's just not the business. I mean, I'm going to catch them and get rid of them. I could set some for you, but. I won't kill them at your house.
Yeah, there you go.
But they're gonna just keep on breeding. That's what they do.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so
if you're
cute.
right. I mean, if you're
Now
that.
hold on. If you want a domesticated one, you could go to Petco.
Right.
That's
right.
a different story.
Yeah.
Wild ones carry ticks. They carry fleas.
Yeah.
So these are. I mean, the whole tick life cycle starts with a rodent. Starts with a mouse or a rat.
Right.
So I mean, you want that in your house? They're gonna drop then off and try to get on a larger mammal, which is gonna be your dog or your kids.
Yeah.
And that's how you get
I
powassan
moved
and
into
all
a
that.
house, 1700s. I moved into it, and as soon as we were taking down the plaster and lath ceilings, we were finding mice. So I caught them in have-a-heart traps, and I put them in a big fish tank.
Yeah,
And I put a cover on them.
that's perfect.
I caught like 14 of them.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden,
they started drowning.
worse than that, somebody got smart, and they freaking opened up the top of the cage.
Oh yeah,
And they all got out,
yeah.
right? So anyway, I started again. I caught one, and I had him. I go, he's going to be the mascot then.
Yeah.
Because then before we called the pest control guy.
Yeah.
So I had one, but the freaking thing was starting to stink, right?
Yeah.
So I figured I'll go in there, I'll just push it back a little bit, and I'll go in there and I'll start cleaning it out, right?
Yeah.
Let
No.
me tell you something. This is what I found out. This is kind of a visual thing, but I'm going to try to explain this to you as simple as possible. As I opened up the cover, this little bastard shot straight up in the air.
Yeah.
Straight up in the air.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like slow motion, and he's facing me. So he's out. He's like 2 feet out from me. He's facing me. His arms and legs are flailing, right? And I swear to you, at some point, one paw came up and gave me the finger, came down, and was gone.
That's it. Out.
And I was like, what just happened?
Yeah, I believe it.
They shoot straight up.
Oh, yeah,
They're
can
such
jump.
survivors.
They are.
You
They
know?
are.
Wow.
I've watched some videos that are just insane to me where they're climbing up pipes that are 6 feet high, and they use their tail to wrap around to keep their balance. Rats too.
Wow.
They're insane. I've seen videos where they're crawling on a vinyl siding, the exterior corner, 2 stories up.
Right. Have you seen the trap? I almost bought one.
The electrical one.
No,
Those are awesome.
the propane one. The little propane, the shot hits him in the head.
What?
It's awesome. So you put it in a, listen to it, you have to look it up. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, and they got a camera on it.
Oh, that's
so they
great.
show the mice, right? And they smell. You put a little scent in it.
Right.
It goes on the wall, right? And they got to stick their head up in his hole. And when they stick their head up in a hole, it's a little propane gas.
Yeah.
It's a little trigger. It hits him in the head. It kills him.
That's
And it
fantastic.
cracks and they fall down, right?
Yeah.
But the scary thing is, so there's a dead mouse, right?
Yeah.
So a dead mouse go, Charlie, what the hell was he? I could smell it too. He sticks his head up there. Bang! He
he's
dies.
dead.
Right? Then the rats come out.
Yeah.
Rats don't even stick their head up. They grab the mice and they take off with
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
They eat them.
Mice are stupid, but rats are really smart.
They're
Are they
very
really?
smart. They send the
They're
young ones out.
extremely
I
smart.
lived in New York City.
That's right.
I know. They send the young ones out,
Yep.
and the big ones stay inside.
Yes, absolutely. The alpha male stays inside with the females, knocks them up, and juveniles go out and do all the dirty work. So the ones that people swear they're huge, those are just juveniles, and they're very big,
Yeah.
but they're still just juveniles.
Yeah.
And they do all the dirty work, and they bring all the food back to the burrow
Yeah.
or to the nest, wherever they're at. But I've seen them in warehouses and things like that. You put anything new in their path, and they avoid it. So a lot of times you have to preset the traps with bait and not set them until they get used to them.
Oh, okay.
And then set the trap to catch them. Because they avoid new things like the plague.
The rats
Huh.
do.
Yeah, the rats do. The
Wow.
mice don't. Mice are
Interesting.
stupid. Mice are curious. They want to see everything.
What's that? Bang!
Yep, that's what happens. They stick their head up
It's
and
over.
whack. Yeah, and they are cannibalistic, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll eat themselves.
Right.
Yeah, and so will the carpenter ants, actually. If they don't have enough food, and I don't know if people know, I'll kill a myth, carpenter ants do not eat wood.
They
Okay.
don't.
No, they do not. They don't have the enzymes in their stomach to break it down. So termites have an enzyme in their stomach. They can break down cellulose material. So
Okay.
they
All right,
eat-
but why is it when you see carpenter ants in the walls? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've
No,
towed
yeah.
there's thousands of them.
Sure.
And they burrow through the
They
wood.
do, yeah. Here's
Yep.
why, because they've got very strong mandibles. And so what they do is they need soft, wet wood, and they chew through it.
Right?
And they nest within the wood. So if you look in
Oh,
it,
okay.
it looks completely clean. Sandpaper, smooth. That's them. They push all the debris out. So if you look at like one of those glass ant farms and you see the maze of the ants and their whole tunnel is completely smooth,
Yep.
that's what they do inside the wood. And since they can't eat it, they push the shavings out. And that's how you can tell if you have carpenter
Right.
ants. You see a giant pile of it. It looks
Sawdust.
like pencil shavings.
Yeah.
Right.
Sawdust.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the difference. With termites, you're not going to see any wood because they eat the wood. And then in the wood, you're going to see mud because they need constant contact with the soil. That's if you're dealing with subterranean termites, which is what we have here in Connecticut. They bring the mud up from the soil and they put it in the wood and they chew through the wood and they actually can digest it. They've got enzymes that turn it into, things that their body needs, protein, starch, sugars, things like that.
What do you use for a treatment of killing the termites? Though?
For termites, the best treatment is liquid treatment. So perimeter, you go into the soil, inject termiticide into the soil. And the goal is you get this, it's a non-repellent, so they don't know they're crossing through it. They get it on their body. And they're social insects, so they're just like ants. They groom each other, they feed each other, they crawl on each other, and they get that product all over each other. And they knock the whole colony out within a few months.
Do they have a queen as well?
They do.
They
They do. The queen is actually, it looks like a grub with legs, with front legs and a front ant part. It's like this, about this big.
Yep.
And there's several castes. So you have the queen, and then you have the workers, the soldiers, and the alates. The alates are the swarmers. They're the ones that people mistake for flying ants. And those guys come up usually after a wet rain in the spring or a warm rain in the spring. And their whole goal is to mate and start a new colony.
Can I say something? This happened to
You
me.
can
You
say
tell me what it
whatever
was.
you'd
So I had.
Don't tell
no,
him that.
no, I
Don't
can't.
tell-
no,
don't
I
tell him
can't.
that.
The show's not that long.
No.
We had an old wine barrel,
Sure.
right?
A lot of
And
holes in it. Powder post beetle, wood boring beetle.
So no, we're pulling into the driveway, and it was exactly at the time everything was hatching. It was all these like flies, eggs, wings, and they were like, "Oh my God, look at it!" And all of a sudden, boom, they were those termites?
It could have been. Did they fly good or bad? Were they poor flyers or good flyers?
I mean, there was so many of them.
Was it just kind of a whole ton of them, and they were fluttering, or were they flying? You know, like a fly flies.
Yeah, no,
Or
they were
they
fluttering.
Yeah,
they were fluttering.
those most likely were termites. I'd have to see them, but most likely, yeah, they swarm in the hundreds and thousands.
Yeah. Wow,
And it's just a
really?
big bunch of them.
Yeah.
And they kind of flutter.
Yeah.
And then they find a mate, and then they have a mechanism to release their wings. Because they don't live above ground. They're subterranean.
Right.
So the mechanism releases the wings. They go back into the soil with their mate, and they start a new colony. And the reason why they send thousands up, the throw enough shit against the wall, something's going to stick.
Yeah.
They're high predation. I mean, birds eat them.
Oh, sure.
Other insects eat them.
Yep.
Squirrels, whatever, can eat them. It's protein.
Yeah.
So they throw that many up because out of that, like 10% are going to live
Right.
and make it back into the soil. And if they swarm in a house, which is when people know they have an issue,
Yep.
they're not going to make it back to the soil 9 times out of 10 because
Sure.
there's a slab. They can't see. They're blind because they're subterranean. They have
Yep.
simple eyes. They can only see light and dark and shades. So they head to the light. Let's go to the light. And then they meet a mate, and they're like, let's get back to the soil. Yeah. So usually if you see them in your house, they're near a window or a sliding glass door. And
Right.
you've got a pile of dead ones.
All right,
And
so
that's
I have a
they can
question.
get back to
I
the
got
soil.
a question to ask me. So when I built my sunroom and I built my false walls underneath,
Yep.
I didn't pour a foundation or a form around it.
Sure.
But what I did do is I put a pressure treated board down, and then I've got the regular spruce or on top of that.
Right.
Will they eat through the pressure treated and the spruce?
Here's the thing about that. So I get that question a lot of times. I have seen pressure treated wood be damaged by wood destroying insects. How old it was older. But here's the thing you have to think about. They're not just hitting the first wood they see, right? So if they get to that pressure treated wood and we'll just say they can't eat that wood. They can't digest that wood properly. They'll just keep going until they can find some wood they can eat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So their whole goal is just keep wandering and maneuvering.
So two and a half inches is not going to stop them. They'll
exactly.
keep going.
I have seen in a basement a slab poured up against a foundation wall. It came through the seam of the slab foundation, 8 feet up.
Wow.
Son of a bitch.
And
about how long does that take?
And it hit the sill plate, and they started eating it.
Wow.
It depends.
We got a phone call?
Is that a phone call?
I don't know. We can go ahead and answer it, though.
All right. Hang
Hit
on one
it up.
second, Freddie.
Hello. Behind the studs. How can we help you?
Hi, this is Greg. Kind of a long-time listener, but I'm calling from Florida.
Okay. Hey, Greg.
How you doing today?
We're doing well. Thanks. Thanks for calling.
All right, cool. I have a couple of questions. So I live,
Sure.
we just moved. I'm in the military. We got transferred down to Florida.
Yep.
Bought a house down here. And we have, like, a mice an issue with mice in the area, right? And especially when it, like, floods. We just had the hurricane come through, what have you. So I'm just trying to figure out what preventative measures to help, like, outside of just setting traps and what have you, because I don't want my dogs, which we have 3 of them, to, like, either get in a trap or if I put poison down or what have you, right?
Sure.
Trying to figure out what
Do you
I
have
can
do you have a slab or a basement?
well, slab, no basement.
No basement. Okay, so yeah, you're on a slab. So, you got to go around the corners of your house and look and see where they're coming in. You got to find any electrical lines, any plumbing, anything where they can possibly come in. A lot of times the corners of your house, if you stick your finger at the corner of the house, you could feel it just goes straight up. They sell end caps for siding. You could buy them on Amazon. You just measure if I don't know if you have vinyl. If it's vinyl or aluminum, you measure it, and you could buy those end caps because they're going to shoot straight up through there. And then once they're in that siding, they can go between the voids in the walls. They need, like I said, only a 1/4 inch. If you have an attached garage, the goal with that would be fix your seam on the bottom, the weather stripping, make sure that it's intact. And they sell these little aluminum end caps that you can put at the very bottom where the white flap of the garage door is, and that'll stop them from being able to come in the sides of the garage. Otherwise, it's just you got to find where they're coming in from. That's the key. You stop them from coming in, you'll never have a problem again. You catch the ones inside, stop them anymore from coming in, and you're golden. But that's the key. Find all the entry points. So look around the garage door, look around the corners of the house for any entry points. And if you have like a bow window or a bay window, a lot of times there's a gap under there because a lot of times contractors put it on like just plywood underneath there, and there could be a gap big enough for them to fit in. Get some stainless steel wool and seal that up. And make sure it's nice and tight.
Stainless steel wool?
Stainless steel wool and get some great stuff foam. Make a mingle of the two. And the reason why I say that is because if you use just foam, they'll chew right through it. Where the stainless steel, it'll cut their gums. And they need their gums. They need their teeth. They don't like anything that cuts their gums. It's also going to cut their face and their whiskers. They're called their vibrissae. It's like their fingers to us. So they need those also. So if their face gets cut up, they're not going to keep trying to chew that area. Mice gnaw just out of habit. They need to dull their teeth from continuously growing.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
I'm on a Navy base, Dad. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. So, yeah, find those entry points. Invest in some stainless steel wool and some great stuff foam. Go around your house, and if you got an AC unit coming in, plumbing lines, anything like that, seal it all up and make a mingle of the two. Make sure it's nice and tight. That's the key. And then inside the house, go underneath your kitchen sink. Go in your laundry room. Go in your bathroom sink. And that little metal ring that's over the pipe, lift it up. And if you've got a hole that you can fit your pinky in or a pencil in, they can fit, and seal that up with the foam and the mesh as well.
Okay. So now, once I've done all the preventative measures, right, like sealing everything up, I'd never heard of the steel wool, so that's pretty legit. I'm going to use that. Would you recommend, especially because I have my dogs, right, and they're new kids, they're really my kids, right?
Yep.
Would you recommend putting like a poison down or something like that?
You don't necessarily have to do poison. I tend not to use poison. That's my last option, actually. I do traps. If you want to do a trap that's not going to hurt kids or that's not going to hurt your pets, like a metal snap trap or one of those Jaws traps, you can buy hidden traps, the hideaway traps, over the counter. They sell them. It's just a little a turning one. You could buy the electrical ones, and the only thing that could fit in there is a small rodent. The dog won't be able to go in. The kid can't reach his finger back far enough. So there are have-a-heart traps. So those are like tin cap metal have-a-heart traps that you could buy. Set some peanut butter on the trigger. They go in. They get caught, and you release them.
All right. So that was my biggest, our biggest concern, especially because we had the hurricane come through recently, and it's just like flooding pushed everything forward, right?
Yeah,
the only
of course.
other thing that I've had, right, we have aluminum siding, and we just bought the house, and we've never experienced this before, and I kind of learned the hard way that squirrels like to chew through metal.
Yeah,
more
they do.
specifically, they chew through the siding, right? So outside of doing the end caps, because I tried doing the end caps, tried doing all those kind of preventative measures, I didn't do the steel wool.
How's your landscaping look? Do you have landscaping? Do you have shrubs and trees right up along your house?
We do not. I actually
because that's the number one thing. Cut any shrubs
directly away from the house.
Yeah, leave about 6 inches to 8 inches away from your house. If you have any tree limbs overshadowing your house, cut those back. Don't let any tree limbs touch or shrubs touch. It's a highway not just for squirrels and rodents, but also for ants. So if your landscaping is good, then you're good. As far as the squirrel, do you have bird feeders?
I do not.
What else do you have?
A lot of squirrels. No, we definitely have one of those trees that has the gumballs with the spiky ends.
Yep.
I never was raised with trees like this, so stepping in the back porch with those gumballs, I guess, is just painful. But I know the squirrels like to eat and chew on those and what have you. So.
Right. Yeah, blow those off.
Cut that tree down.
Cut that tree down. Get rid of it. I mean, squirrels.
Lord, I have no idea how many times I've wanted to cut it down.
Yeah. You got to find someone who will charge you less than $5,000.
Yeah.
With the squirrels, as long as there's any trees around that they're eating on, they're always going to be a pain in the neck. I mean, just check to make sure your soffit vents are all tight. Make sure that your roof, your gable vents are all, batched down properly, because that's how the squirrels are going to get in. As far as them chewing through, it could have been just out of trying to save their life with that storm coming. I mean, they'll chew through anything to save their life, especially if it's a pregnant female. So, I mean, if your shrubbery's cut back and your trees are cut back, you should be golden with those.
Looks like
Otherwise,
I
get a BB gun.
I got tree trimming this weekend, so hooray me.
There you go. Hooray you! And there are larger have-a-heart traps. You can catch the squirrels. You have to go about 5 miles in one direction, or otherwise they'll find their way home to release them. So yeah, you could get larger traps for squirrels too. Yeah, 5 miles.
I
Wow.
was about to test there. No kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you answered my questions. I have nothing else. So I appreciate the
Perfect.
Phil Wolf trick. That's definitely that's going to be going in the book today. So.
Yeah.
All
Make
right.
sure it's nice and tight, and use the foam with it. It'll hold it in place when it hardens.
Roger that. Appreciate
Perfect.
it, sir.
All right. You have
Good
a
luck,
one.
Craig.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you
Greg.
for calling.
Thanks, buddy.
Take care.
Bye.
So do you have heart traps now, like on squirrels and stuff?
On other things. So in Connecticut, you need a wildlife license to deal with wildlife.
And you can
so
do that. You can do that.
I don't do that because I don't have my wildlife license.
Yeah.
I don't have a wildlife license, so I can't do it legally. So no, I don't do
So
that.
skunks
Okay.
and stuff like that. You're just a bug man.
I'm just I'm a bug man and rodent because I have my rodent license. So I could
All
do
right.
moles, voles, mice, and rats.
What's the difference between a vole and a mole?
The difference between a vole and a mole?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a mole, if you look at a picture of him, he likes to live underground. He makes all lumpy, crappy areas in your yard.
Ruins your lawn.
They like to eat earthworms. And
Yeah.
voles, they're much smaller. They're just a little bit larger than a mouse, and they've got a very pointy nose.
Yeah.
And those guys will actually go into your house. They'll get into your house and kind of live in there, and their piles of shit are nasty.
Really? Ugh.
Yeah, really bad. I had
You
this one place where it was just this pile about 6 inches high by 9 inches wide of vole crap, and they were living up in the insulation. It was like a dry storage area. So their nesting habits are different. What they eat is different. There's a lot of difference between them.
Now, do they mess up your lawn as well?
The voles, not so much.
Okay.
They can, but not really. If they are, it's not like a mole. You can tell when it's a mole because it's just like pits falling.
Yeah.
Voles, they'll dig a bit and go in, but they don't ruin your lawn like a mole does. Moles
right.
destroy your lawn.
So if you have grubs,
Yeah,
Stuff like that, is that-
what the moles are after is earthworms, grubs, things like that. You do some worm control, grub control, you're usually good. There's also some baits you could buy over the counter, some gummy worm baits that you could stick in their holes,
okay.
and some other ways you could get rid of them. These I've heard work. I don't know if Rutgers did a study on these. There are some ultrasound waves for moles, and I think those are used more as like a vibration through the soil. I don't know if those work or not, but I know they sell those.
I have to say, when people that I knew had a house, there was no house next door. It was a vacant lot. And when they came in, they'd start digging the foundation. Vroom. They all came running that way. All they had problems with moles, voles, whatever.
Everything, yeah.
Everything. Yep,
Yeah,
came
construction
right in
is
their room.
one of the biggest things that, like, if you've never had rats and then all of a sudden you're having rats, it's 9 times out of 10 there's construction somewhere in the area that just started or demolition
Really?
of some type.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
In,
Makes sense.
In a residential area, yeah.
Yeah.
If you've never had them or the neighborhood's never had them, I just actually I went to an inspection 2 weeks ago. Their whole street never had any. It was actually organic, and their whole neighborhood now has them. Well, a month ago, a restaurant shut down, and they demolished it.
Oh.
And it was because COVID. They ran out of business. They
Sure.
didn't do well in business, and so the rats needed somewhere to find some food. So they moved into the neighborhood closest to them, and all the houses ended up having rat burrows.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so-
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you get termites?
You know, when a guy meets a woman and they fall in love.
And we heard about this whole fluttering
Well.
thing too. So yeah.
I got something similar than that, but it was in college.
Yeah.
It wasn't termites, though.
I hope you got rid of it.
Oh, Big time.
Okay, good.
Right away.
Good. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Did it burn when you peed?
No, it wasn't that. No, it was a
okay.
rodent.
Oh my, that's
All
horrible.
right. All right.
So, you like to mess with PVC piping? Is that what I'm hearing here?
Pretty much.
Instead of
Yeah,
rodent?
I'm into anything. Once.
Here's the thing about
Rock and
I'll
roll,
try
what the hell?
anything once. The termites, it's different termites in different places. So people living down south deal with drywood termites, completely different species. So anything I talk about here is going to be with what we deal with, eastern subterranean termites.
1 second. Colin,
Yes.
look at the picture. You still got it? Pull it back up. While you were on the phone talking with our guy there,
Yeah.
I told him, look at this.
The queen. Did you?
I did.
I want to find one. I have specimens all over my desk, and this is one that it's eluded me. I can't find her. If anyone finds one of these,
The queen?
yeah, the queen, I'll do your termite job for free.
Wow.
I'm telling you that right now. If you can get me a queen eastern subterranean termite as a specimen, I will do a termite job.
But that's
got to
be so hard to find, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
haven't
you've
found it.
seen the queen of like Carpenter Bees or
Yeah,
Carpenter Ants and stuff
Carpenter
like that.
Bees,
Yep.
Carpenter Ants, all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
This is a whole different thing. You have to
Yeah.
find the maiden colony. You have to find where she's at. You got to
Does
dig
a possum
down.
eat those? Does a possum eat termites and stuff like that?
Anything. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It's good protein,
protein.
right? You've
Yeah.
seen Lion King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matata.
Kumatata, baby.
That's it.
That's it. So how do you get termites?
Crunchy.
It's all about your soil. Your soil, it's got to be the right temperature, moisture level, mineral content. I mean, it's got to be perfect storm. They live between the frost line and the water table, right? So, depending on how high your water table is, depending on how deep your frost line is, and then all about mineral content. They need the proper structure of soil, too, to be able to make the mud that they need to live in. So I've seen a lot, actually, in Niantic and Mystic. Sandy soil they seem to like. So it's really about your soil. And then if people are bringing soil that is conducive to the termites into a new place. I've seen brand new constructions, not even a year old, with termite infestations.
Brandon, you got to come to my house because everything you're saying, I got sandy soil way low.
Oh, yeah.
I just dropped 25 yards of freaking loam today.
Did you
topsoil.
also put mulch anywhere?
No.
Okay.
I got mulch away from the house. It's
Okay,
not
good.
on the
Yeah,
house.
keep it away from the house.
But you have to come by and just gonna go.
Yeah.
Jimmy, this is a bozo no.
Well, here's the thing. You got enough construction debris. Just throw it 50 feet from your house. They'll eat all that, and they won't come to
Yeah.
your house.
Yeah.
All right.
But
yeah, you gotta,
so it's all about. So first, it's the soil content, and if the soil content is proper, what they're doing as they're crawling through the soil because they're blind. Again, they're just probing. They're probing for wood. Where's wood? Sometimes there's construction debris. They hit that up. There's old tree roots.
Right.
They hit that up. They'll
Yep.
they'll infest live trees. I've peeled back bark on a live tree and seen working termites. It's just it's all about the soil, and then they look for any wood. And there are structures that they've built recently with an IPM, integrated pest management, in mind, where they put some aluminum and some copper flashing underneath to kind of ward off the termites from coming up. And I've heard actually some pretty positive stuff about that with the newer constructions using the copper underneath.
never heard it yet. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
No.
I went to a place, some mansion, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, you're using copper. I mean,
Right.
it's just not going to be cheap if you're, you know what I'm saying?
No.
So they also had cupolas with copper all over.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, they
Oh,
were
yeah.
just spending money left and right. And
Sure.
so that's not for everyone. So that's one way if you're building new construction. Otherwise, it's just you got to keep your eye on it because they'll just start coming up the foundation and getting up underneath the siding. A lot of times you can't see it because they'll go between like the porch pour, your porch.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if there's a seam between the porch and the foundation, they'll use that as their way up and into to where the sill plate is.
This guy's scaring the
So-
shit out of me.
You gotta look. You go in your basement and turn all the lights on. Get a really good LED flashlight. Look up at your sill plate. Take a screwdriver and poke your sill and your box plate and see if it's punky. Call me.
Yeah.
You know?
No, definitely give me a
I'm
call.
calling you
For
before.
sure.
You got to come over and you
Yeah.
just got to look at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Make
you.
sure I did everything good.
Yeah.
Right
All
now,
right.
I'm not worried about it. You know?
And I'll tell you one thing. If you want to and this is a plug for a really decent product that for years I had no idea if it worked. And then I had a person call me for a termite inspection, and
Yeah.
they had these put in place. And I said, it's nice to know these actually work, because people have always been asking me. Lowe's, Home Depot, and all those places, they sell a termite thermometer. It's about this big. It's got a cap about that big.
Yeah,
it's
I've seen
green
it.
with the orange little plug in the center.
Yeah.
And you bury it 3 feet from your house every 10 feet. And the termites will eat the pulp that's in there. And then when it's all eaten, that orange thing pops up. So she called me and said, I don't know if these things work, but it popped up. Can you do an inspection? So I did an inspection. I found termites on the inside of her garage. So then I pulled that thing out, and it was infested with termites.
Wow.
So as a thermometer, just to see if you've got them around your house, I have them at my house. Once I found that out, I said, I'm going to buy them. Shoot, why not, if it works? So that's a good product that you could buy over the counter. I think it's about $80 for a 15-pack.
What do you
It's
what do you
well
call
worth
it
it.
again? What do you call it again?
It's a termite thermometer. It's a bait station, and you can't miss it. It looks like something that can plunge into the ground. Green circle top, about that big, like 3.5 inches, and then an orange circle in the center. And it's got I don't know if it's. I know it's cellulosic. I don't think it's poison. I just think it's cellulose for them to eat, and they need that wood to soil contact. And so they come across it, they start eating it, and then once it's all eaten, that thing pops up, and that tells you they're near your house. Call someone.
Okay.
So it's good. It's not good to get rid of
good.
them, but it's good to call someone. Know you have
That's
them.
good. All right. If you had the choice, termites or carpenter ants, which is the lesser of the two evils?
Carpenter ants.
Stink
I
bugs.
would stink bugs. I would rather have carpenter
That's
ants.
not the question.
I would. Here's the thing. It really depends. Depends on the age of the house. Depends on a few different things. Because carpenter ants, you can have carpenter ants coming in your house and not have an infestation in your house.
Right.
They could just be foraging. So I'd rather have carpenter ants. Now, if you're noticing the carpenter ants, you generally are seeing them in the kitchen because they like to eat proteins
They
and
got
sugars.
sugar ants every spring. They come in.
Actually, there is no sugar ant in America. There's only, and that just for everyone to know.
That's why
There's
you're on the show.
only sugar
Show me
ants
that I'm an idiot.
in Australia, the Connecticut, and in the United States. They're called the little black ant. That's the technical term.
Little black ant.
Odor's house ant, pavement ant. They all are little tiny picnic ant. All them. Those are the Odor's house ant, pavement ant, or the little black ant.
These are little brown ants. Little brown ones.
Yeah, it's a little black ant. You're colorblind, clearly. Go see
I'm not.
I'm telling you, they're black.
Well, you didn't
Listen,
know you
if
were.
Freddie,
Listen,
I'm telling you right
the-
now, Freddie,
if they're
when you're
brown-
Saturday night
if
when you're
they're brown,
sleeping in the
they're-
spring, I'm going to go,
No,
Freddie, it's
listen.
Jimmy. It's a brown ant.
Show me a picture. Everyone
I'm going to
does.
show you.
Yeah.
If 2
Make
in the
sure
morning.
it's clear.
Yeah.
Get a specimen for me. I like it.
Okay.
So listen, if it's brown, it's an Odor's house ant, and you could tell if you pick it up and crush it and smell it, you'll smell like rotten coconut. That's an Odor's house ant.
Rotten coconut.
Yeah, rotten coconut. Yeah.
So now I gotta get rotten coconut.
Listen,
smell it.
no,
and then
no.
I get a mouth.
No,
that's a rotten.
Don't worry about the coconut. Just crush the ant, and you'll know what a rotten coconut smells like. Don't get a rotten
Never
coconut.
smelt a rotten coconut before.
Well, if the ant has any scent to it, other than citronella, because the big yellow ant smells like citronella. If it has any scent to it after you crush it, that's what rotten coconut smells like.
I don't know
So
which
there you go.
direction we're going in anymore.
But the
I ain't
Odor's
even
house
asking
ant-
about mothballs. Mothballs.
That's
I ain't
don't
even
use
asking about
mothballs; those are bad for you.
Those will kill you.
Those will, in large amounts, you can get very sick. and
We
I've
working
been in
on the
houses.
house, Colin. Remember that time?
Oh my word!
Which
My
one?
eyes were bleeding
Dude.
from it. It's
Oh, with the
disgusting.
mothballs.
Open
Yeah,
up the
it's
door and they
nasty.
go,
Oh, my
woman,
soul.
you got to get rid of this
Yeah,
shit.
it's
This is
really
going to
bad
kill
for
you.
you. Really
People
bad.
go crazy when they have, and clothes moths are not something to let go, because I've done some crazy infestations that cost upwards of thousands of dollars to take care of, because it's I have to go through everything, closets and dressers and in their attic to find an old hat box and random
Yeah,
stuff.
they
are.
One
Yeah.
time I found it in it was an old projector, and the inside was all purple velvet. All the velvet was eaten up except a couple scraps of it, and there was just hundreds and hundreds of moth larvae.
Wow.
And a couple dozen moths.
Yeah.
And it's just a nightmare. And I go in, I vacuum them all out with a pre-treated vacuum so they die in the vacuum. I gotta go. It's just a nightmare. You got to do ultra low volume liquids in places, traps in places, pheromone traps. But don't use mothballs in large quantities. You could get really sick. Read the label. That's another. Read the label on the mothballs. You're not supposed to use a certain amount.
Why do they have them? They should just get rid of them.
They
for
should.
what?
Here's the reason why they have them.
Why?
It puts the customer at ease. It makes them think that something is happening. It really does.
Yes.
That's the reason.
It's semi-unconscious, and then you're dead.
That's right. But if you read the label, it says to use a certain amount in a certain area, and just people go crazy with them. So if you use them properly,
the old folks do.
The old folks definitely do. Yeah, I like the smell of that because it reminds me of my grandma. Good memory.
Good for you, Freddie.
Yeah, good. Yeah. That's great. All right, so
back to the
how do
Carpenter
we? Well, no, how do we kill termites?
How do you kill
Because I always
termites?
see the baits and everything else that are away from the house, and they've got like wood in it or something else.
Don't go for the bait station. So if
Okay.
you get Terminex and Orkin out there, they're going to pitch you a spot treatment liquid with the bait station just because they want an annuity. They want you to pay every 4 months to have them come check those out.
Yep.
If you get the liquid treatment, the advances in technology nowadays are so phenomenal. They've got products out there. You do a one and done, you're good.
Okay.
So I got a product that I use, and I give a 3-year warranty on it. And then if they want to extend the warranty, they can extend it annually for 10% of the cost, and they can extend it for the life of their structure. And the product is that good. So the product gets injected, like I told you, it gets injected into the soil, which is where they live. It gets done all around the full perimeter. If you have a garage that abuts or any other structure that abuts and there's a seam between the foundation, I would drill that and also inject sub-slab the termiticide. You have to get a full perimeter around any seams and any areas that are around the foundation. Seal that up with a non-cellulose cork, re-cement it, smooth it out, and then what you do after that is on the inside, you do a wood treatment up along the sill plate or wherever there was some damage, and the with a borate solution to soak into the wood to keep them from chewing the wood.
Yep.
They all get knocked out and die, right? And then this product stays in place in ideal climates where it's 70 degrees year round. It could last a decade or more, 12, 15 years. In Connecticut, ground thawing and freezing, it could break down a little quicker, 5 to 7 years. But it lasts. And so if any new termite, because if you have them, you have them. And you're going to have more out in the woods behind your house and more in your front lawn. They just haven't yet reached your structure.
Yep.
So now that product is in place and it's protecting. What's more protective? A whole liquid barrier or a bait station every 10 feet?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Are they going to get this little bait station or are they going to go between and get your house? So I say do the full liquid perimeter. It's about the same price.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's
All right.
either way, it's the same price, except with the bait stations, you're paying them every time they come out. With me, you're paying me one time for 3 years, and then if you want to extend the warranty, great. If not, then you don't have to. And if you ever sell it, the warranty's fully transferable.
Nice.
So do the liquid. It's
All
the
right.
best way.
Hey, I'm just looking up ants again. That freaking thing. That's a red ant with a black butt.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well,
That's
here's the reason why. There's many different types.
That's
so
right. Look at that.
The Carpenter ants they're what's called polymorphic. So with ants, there's monomorphic and polymorphic. So there's many shapes or there's one shape and size, right? So with like Odor's house ants, they're monomorphic. There's only one size. So all of the workers, the soldiers, the queen, they're all the same size. With Carpenter ants, you've got different sizes and different colors. So there's some that are if we want to go with all the Latin terms, we can.
We don't have to.
Okay, so we won't do that.
Please do.
So some of that, the red and black are certain species of Carpenter ant, and then you've got the black and gray, which are another species. The ones that we tend to have here in Connecticut are the black and gray, and you could tell if it's a Carpenter ant because on their anus there's no stinger, and there's a circlet of hairs. So that back end, that's their gaster. The back abdomen part there, the black part.
Yeah.
That's their gaster.
I
and
never knew that.
If you look at the
Gaster.
bottom of it, it won't have a stinger. A lot of ants have stingers.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because...
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. And the workers of the Carpenter ants, when they bite, and I've been bitten,
Oh, they hurt.
they'll release formic acid and it'll
really?
burn like a mother effer. Yeah.
Really?
Really bad. Yeah, read up on them. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I read...
Carpenter ants.
I read about a different species every day. Every morning I pull out. I'm a geek. Every morning, this is what I do.
We got a party
I have
with this
my
guy.
coffee. I pull out my the Pest Management Association app, and I start looking up. What am I going to read today? Bees.
It looks up ant porn.
Let's look. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's insect
Look
porn.
at the size of this gaster.
Listen,
look at that gaster.
and trying to tell my wife about it. She's like, I don't need to know about. I says, yes, you do. Especially now that I own my own company, you need to know.
You need to know.
You need to know these
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
Are you flat out? right now?
Yeah.
Work-wise? Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, horrible.
Horrible. Everyone's horrible.
No, I'm
That's
doing
good.
actually really good. Pest control this year was insane because more people were home,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
so they were noticing the pests.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are essential because, again, going back to the rodents, they carry diseases.
Yeah.
So do cockroaches. You could get very sick from a cockroach infestation. Ticks, mosquitoes. These are all vectors of horrible, horrible diseases. So we are federally mandated. We're essential.
Yep.
So we didn't get shut down. We kept going. I stayed with Guardian for the spring and then resigned in the fall so that I could help them with their busy season.
Yep.
And no, I'm busy. Even just starting out, I've got. I did buy a small company with a small customer base, so I'm taking care of them. But I also have a ton of people through my years of doing this that just know me and have been calling
Well,
me.
you got a new customer today. That's me.
Well, good. I appreciate it.
We're going to hook up after the show.
Absolutely,
Damn
I
sure.
got your back.
All right, though.
Thank
But
you, man.
before we get toward the ending of the show,
Sure.
I do want to just talk about real quickly Carpenter Bees
Yeah,
and Woodpeckers.
sure. Carpenter Bees
Oh,
and Woodpeckers.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
a big thing around here.
It is. It's a big thing, and I always get the question with the woodpeckers on why are they pecking here? What are they looking for? Do I have an infestation of something because they're pecking at my house? So I always say the same thing to the customers. You can have an infestation of something. I have to come out and take a look. But woodpeckers don't just peck looking for food. They peck for several reasons. They peck for territory. So if a male is pecking, it's because this is my area. Stay back. This is my kingdom. They peck for mating. So the female and male have different mating pecks. And this is to say, hey, come over here. Let's get busy.
Sure.
Let's shag now
Yeah.
or later, baby.
Yeah.
And then they also just peck out of habit.
Okay.
Just pure habit. They're woodpeckers. They peck wood. And then they also look for food. And a lot of times it's not carpenter bees, though. A lot of time it's wood-boring beetle larvae. So wood-boring beetles, old house borers, powder post beetles, lictid and postrates, what they're doing is the female lands, lays an egg, and then the larvae, it's a little worm, goes into the wood. And its whole life cycle is in that wood.
Okay.
And woodpeckers can sense that they're in there because they could hear them. Not only those, but sow bugs go in there, centipedes, millipedes. There's a lot of stuff if you have cedar shake and it's wet.
Yeah.
A silverfish loves cedar shake.
Okay,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
woodpeckers are going after all that.
Yep.
If they're going after it. Now, if you do have carpenter bees, they will go after the larvae as well. But generally, those are up on the clapboard or the fascia board.
Yep.
Usually, woodpeckers are on the corners of the house, so usually they're going after wood-boring beetle or centipedes or silverfish.
If I can add this for homeowners right now, that helps to keep woodpeckers away from your house because they go for the corners.
Yes.
99% of the time that I've looked at houses that have woodpeckers that are hitting the fascia board going into the clapboard, they never have caulked the fascia board,
Right.
The trim board, and the clapper together.
You want to do it yourself for this?
Huh?
You want to do it yourself? Get rid of woodpeckers? I could tell you how to keep them away.
All right, that's what. But I'm just
Let's
no.
see
You're
if
gonna
yours
tell me.
is going to be the same.
You're going to tell me, but I'm saying to homeowners, if they caulk between the clapboard and the fascia board, it eliminates a lot of activity.
Oh, where
for
they
woodpeckers.
can land on. You're
well,
talking.
no, the bugs have nowhere to go.
Oh, I see what
the
you're
bugs
saying.
can't get in. They love the
the
corners
seam
of the
right
house.
there. I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to get into that corner of the house because that's where you see most of the damage of woodpeckers.
Yes.
most of the time.
Absolutely.
So what's your trick
That's
to
true.
get rid of woodpeckers?
I tell people all the time, you can buy them over the counter, or you can make them yourself. They sell streamers, reflective silver streamers.
They hate movement.
Yeah, and it glistens the sun. And so if you put these little spinners on the corners of your house, as the sun hits them, they won't land because it freaks them out. They can't see properly to land. You can make it yourself for really cheap. Sewing thread, needle, and aluminum tinfoil. Cut them in 3-inch, 4-inch strips. What's that? 8-inch, 4-inch, 8-inch, 6-inch strips. Use
bugs.
sewing needle. Yeah, exactly. Tie it off and then thumbtack it to the side of the house. It'll keep them away.
Have you ever tried suet?
No.
Suet works.
Does it really?
Yeah. If you get suet, and if you don't have a tree that's nearby where they're going after,
Right.
you get one of the shepherd's hooks,
And knock it
and then
onto
you
there?
put it in the ground. They'll start to go for it. You keep moving it back like about every week, and you
Oh,
just keep
wow.
it full because if it goes out, then they're going to go right back to your house. So
That makes
I've done
sense.
it. I've done it at my house. I think Jimmy's done it before too. I've given it to a lot of people.
I thought you were going to
That
say this
actually-
was suet. We actually so aviary pest control is another license, so I don't do this, but I know people that do. Certain woodpeckers are endangered, so you can't do this, but others you can. A rat trap. They nail it to the side of the house and put suet.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Geez.
Yeah.
You get in trouble for
You
that.
can, but
Yeah,
they do it.
yeah.
There's endangered species in Connecticut, and if you kill the wrong woodpecker, you get in some serious trouble. And another thing with people, bats are your friends.
Yeah,
they're helpful
they are.
for the
Yes,
environment.
yes,
they are
yes.
super helpful for the environment.
Yep.
And they are not looking to bite you or anything like that.
No.
And we lost a ton of them because of the white nose fungus a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're on not the endangered, but they're on the list right before it. So you can't even like the exterminators can't get rid of
During the
bats.
rainy season, you can't even move them.
No, you can't even
Wow.
touch them.
Right.
So bats are good.
Yes.
And don't freak out from them. They're really awesome. Their
Huh.
poop is nasty, but they're really
Oh,
good
no.
for you.
You can tell them the story later.
Yeah, we'll talk. I've mentioned it on the show before, but we'll talk about it later.
All right,
He's got a bat poop story.
Oh,
for
I
you.
love
So,
it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But actually, with the suet and the woodpeckers, it
I
really
like
does
that.
work
That's a good
because
idea.
I could be sitting out on my back porch and we've got suet out there. I'll watch half a dozen woodpeckers. They're all out there.
Yeah, I
They're
like
flying
that.
around and stuff, but nobody touches my house anymore.
That's great.
Yeah.
And it's non-lethal, which is what I
Right.
love to go for as often as possible, unless it's a species that's destroying stuff. As often as I can, any of my products, I use the lowest level toxicity,
Yep.
and I use the lowest concentration level because the label says if I could kill it with this low concentration, why not?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's better for people, it's better for the environment, it's
Yep.
better for their pets, and that's what I care about most is my customer, the environment, and their
Mm-hmm.
pets. So I always use lowest toxicity levels, and as often as I can, harmless. As much integrated pest management, taking care of the entry points, sealing off the areas, get rid of the conducive conditions.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to use products, if you need to attack the issue with some chemical, let's do it.
You
But
can't get rid of Carpenter Bees, huh? They just show up.
you can. It's a process. So with Carpenter Bees, the way to do it is the best way to do it in their holes. So the way that their holes, so the female, she makes a perfectly round hole. It looks
Yeah.
man-made. It's insane.
They're eating my shed to death.
They turn
like that,
90
right?
degrees.
Just like that.
Just like that, exactly. And don't confuse them with the bumblebee. They look a lot alike, but these ones are shiny, where bumblebees are very fuzzy. They look identical, other than the shininess versus fuzziness.
That's a shiny, so that's shiny.
That's shiny, exactly. See that circle on its back? That means it's a female. She's got a stinger. A male can't sting. The males are the ones that come after you and bang into you. They can't sting you. Don't be afraid of them. They're saying, get away. This is where the female's at, and he's buzzing around waiting for her to come out so he could mate with her. She can sting, but doesn't want to. If she does, it's very potent. So if you're allergic, go to the doctor.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know they stung.
The females can. The males do not, and they will.
They'll bite you.
They're very slow to sting. They're very docile, slow to sting. But if you go next to that hole and start causing some trouble, I wear my bee suit when I go up to dust those holes because they will come out at you. Absolutely. So the best way to do it is see that hole. When she makes that hole, she then takes a 90-degree turn and makes with the grain of the wood a 3-foot long cell.
Wow.
And she puts an egg, provisions it with pollen, and then seals it off. Another one, and does it all the way to the hole's entrance. And then she sits at that hole's entrance the rest of the year through winter into spring, and then she helps the babies out, and then she dies, and then the other ones come out and mate. So the way to take care of this is I come out in this time of year because what's in there now is an overwintering female and all the larvae. I dust in there with a product that lasts for about 6 months to a year. So when they emerge, they're going to die in the spring. And now that they're dead, you're not going to have any new ones. You then call me, I come back out in the spring, and I do a repellent up along your fascia board to keep any new ones from going in, and then you seal those up. You seal those holes up. And then you call me every fall, and I just put the liquid residual.
I use a badminton.
You can do
That's
that
what I did.
too.
A racket.
But here's the
I
thing:
love doing
they'll reinfest that same hole over
Yeah,
and over,
they
and
do.
that
That's
6
what
foot,
they're
that
doing.
3 foot will turn to 12 feet, to turn
No
to
kidding,
18
really?
feet.
I've
Yeah.
seen a whole railing.
Wow.
A whole
Oh, yeah.
railing.
Yeah.
Went right through the whole railing.
Oh yeah, they
8
will.
feet.
Yep,
other end.
they
That's
do. They
crazy.
do some crazy damage. It does take a while, but yeah, they can destroy.
Wow.
But I have used a tennis racket too. It is pretty fun.
It's a nice stress reliever at
It
the end of the
is,
day.
it is
Yes,
for sure.
Get
yes.
fast.
They are. They're not easy to hit.
Yeah,
When you hit 'em, it's fun.
Birds eat
Yeah.
them. Birds eat those guys.
Yes,
don't
yeah,
they?
yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's
Hakuna
right.
Matata.
Protein. Protein.
Hakuna Matata.
Hey,
So what do you have for a horror story?
got a horror story?
Oh, too many, man. Too
Yeah,
many.
us one.
pick one.
All right, so bed bugs, man. Bed bugs are rough. So these things are creepy, nasty, freaky, right?
They're still around?
Oh, they're still around.
Really?
Oh, for
Okay.
sure they are.
All right.
Scheming now.
I know.
Just at the beginning of the year. So for bed bugs, I go out and do an inspection first because I got to know what I'm dealing with before I price it out because no bed bug infestation's the same. This one, as I'm walking in, I didn't think to look around the hallway of going up to the apartment building. So I'm just walking up. I get into this unit that had the issue. They all had the issue, all 4 units. Just this was the one that called.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and the guy goes to shake my hand, and I see him crawling on his arm.
No.
Stop it.
On his arm.
Shut the front door.
I then say to him, hey, I don't shake hands, the virus and everything. Take me to where you're seeing these the most. And he takes me to the kitchen. That's a bad sign because these are bed bugs. They generally hang out in places you're sleeping. He didn't have a bed in his kitchen. And I'm looking, and they are on the countertop. They're on the crown molding. They're on the cabinets. I said, where's your bedroom? So he takes me to his bedroom. The second I walk in, bed bug infestations in large amounts, and I have pictures of this on my Facebook page, by the way. In large amounts, they stink bad. It's a very sweet, musty odor. And the second I got 2 feet from the entry of his bedroom, I smelt that, and I walked in, and his bed had no sheets on it. And all you could see was black from their feces. All along the entire side of his bed, bugs just crawling in the middle of the day, where these are nocturnal by nature, and so much blood from them eating on him, spots all over the bed. But the corner of it was just this giant pile of black feces and brown bugs because they're mahogany color, like reddish color, all over it. And the closer I got, I just saw thousands of nymphs, which are very, very tiny, and the eggs are even smaller.
This is the worst horror story we've ever heard.
We're never asking this question again.
I said to him, you're gonna need help, but not from me. I won't go in this place again,
Dude.
So
yeah.
I gave him a recommendation for Terminex. They have a fumigation license in Connecticut.
They got to fumigate the house.
They need,
Yeah.
because the other apartments I went and checked, they had infestations too, because they go through the conduits, the electrical conduits, they go
Really?
through the walls. Yeah, because it was such a bad infestation that they moved to the whole house. As I was leaving the hallway that I walked in through, I usually don't look on the walls. I started looking on the walls, and they're everywhere. I see 3 over here, 2 over here. They're on the ceiling. I'm worrying about them dropping. One of the number one places you're going to get them is in a hotel. So I recommend when you go to a hotel, put all your stuff, all your belongings in the tub. They can't cross tile generally because it's too slick. Check your bed. If you see any black stains or blood stains on the corners of your mattress or box spring, ask for a new room. They will not say no. There's a blacklist for hotels that if pest management professionals say something about it, they'll go on there as a hotel known to have a bed bug issue. So they're on top of taking care of it now. A lot of them have preventative stuff going on. They have on-call pest control. So they're doing really good. Other places are movie theaters, any public transportation, airplanes even. So anytime you go on a trip, I always recommend wherever you're staying, put your stuff, don't unpack, put it in the tub, check everything out. If you see any stains or anything questionable, just ask for a new room, they'll move you. When you get home, check your stuff out, make sure that there's nothing on that. Yeah. That's what it looks like. So the black, it looks like ink spots. Yeah. That's their feces. The red, the reds are the bugs, and the yellow are the bugs, and then the see-through yellow are their cast skins. So these have incomplete life cycles, meaning they don't have a larval stage. They go from egg to nymph, and then they have 5 nymphal instar stages, but they look the same as the adult. They just get bigger. And so the smaller yellow are the nymphs. The see-through yellow right there, that's large, that's a cast skin. That's a 4th star going into an adult stage, or 5th star going into adult stage.
Look at that up there.
Yeah,
Holy
that's
shit.
feces. And there's probably bugs in there too.
And you just saw that infested on a
Oh, this is nothing compared to what I see. This is what I see. This is what I see at a normal one. This doesn't bother me. It's the ones where I go in and see them crawling on the walls of a kitchen. That's a problem. I mean,
that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be in there. You know, there's in the bedroom, in the living room, because there's sofas and there's chairs, and they're anywhere you spend an hour sitting or laying is where they're going to be. So it's normal to see them there, but in a kitchen, no.
I
Yeah,
can't.
it was nasty.
Was he an old
And these
man?
things-
Was he an old man, or was just like
He was it was a house for people on state stuff with a mental issue, and they actually got the woman who was supposed to be taking care. Oh,
They
she
got
got
big-
in
yeah.
huge trouble because
I
I talked to
hope
the
so.
landlord, and the landlord said she's been saying she's been visiting every day this week. I asked him, and he said she visits, but at the front door. And
Yeah.
she's gone after 10 minutes. So I have to report that. I have to. So I called, and she definitely lost her job and probably got in some other trouble. But
Good job,
it was
Freddie.
it was a
Good
sad
job, buddy.
It was a
Good.
sad thing, and I was
Yeah.
like, this guy, he doesn't know better.
He doesn't. You can't see him.
No,
Right.
he
Man.
has no idea. He had him on his person.
Yeah, he had no
Yeah.
idea.
He had no clue. No
That's
clue.
terrible.
That's
That's
terrible.
awful.
It was very bad, and I've seen it in older homes as well, old people homes I've gone to where one person has it and the other people don't know they do, and I have to go in and take care of it for them. And I sympathize with them because a lot of them are the state-funded ones. And so any kind of places like that are prone to it, and any kind of transient places like shelters and prisons obviously are prone to bed bugs because they
Right.
hitchhike. They have what's called, and this will freak people out. They have what's called a
not done
hazardous
yet?
a hazardous insemination process. The female has no vagina, so the male has a hypodermic penis, cuts her abdomen open, injects inside of her abdomen. She can die from it, but guess what? The male, after she's already pregnant, still want to impregnate her. And so after she's pregnant, she has to run away from the infestation, or she could get killed from another guy trying to do it to her. And then, so she's the one that usually hitchhikes. So she wants to go within 3 to 6 feet of the bed or the main infestation, and sometimes she'll get onto a shoe or a backpack and take the ride somewhere else. And if you get a pregnant female, she can lay 6 to 8 eggs every day.
Wow.
And the babies gestate just 3 weeks, and then after their first blood meal, they can mate. So they need that blood meal to grow, and she needs the blood meal to lay the eggs. So she could lay 6 to 8 every day. You could have a full-blown infestation from one pregnant female within a month and a half.
I got a concrete bed coming in.
Yep.
I got a concrete house.
There's preventative measures you could take. I do a
Oh,
preventative service where I put traps at the bottoms of the legs of the bed, and I put encasements on. and
I
stuff
don't.
like that.
I don't
But-
think I'm
Oh,
sleeping
Freddie.
tonight.
Yeah, bed
Freddie.
bugs. Night, sleep tight. Don't let the
Jeez,
bed
Freddie.
bugs
Yeah,
bite.
right.
God,
Thanks a lot,
Freddie.
Freddie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
Freddie, give me all your gear, dude.
That's
I want it all.
That's it.
I'm not
I-
skeevy, but this is
Yeah.
skeevy.
Yeah, I've got some pictures that'll make you skeeve out.
Stop. No, we're good. No, I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah, we're good. No, no.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
So, Fred, how does everybody find you?
Everyone can either call me or they could go on my website, marvelpest.com.
Yep.
They could go on my Facebook page at Marvel Pest CT, or they can call me 860-692-8402.
Great.
I do free inspections for anything you need, and I service all Connecticut.
Nice.
So
Freddie, I'll see you soon, dude.
absolutely, I'm
I'm not
here
saying
for
that my house is infected, but I want to know.
I was gonna
you.
say,
Absolutely, yeah.
I just want to know.
Doesn't
Get
say,
the,
Fred,
get the inspection.
I hope I don't see you again for a while.
Yeah.
At your house.
Yeah, that's
Not at my
it.
house,
Not
right?
at the
Yes,
house.
yes. Out somewhere would
Absolutely.
be
We ought to
fine.
film
Yeah.
him. You know, we ought to just film him. I'll
that's-
use my
yeah.
house.
Yeah,
Definitely. Just go through.
absolutely.
No, this is works. This doesn't. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
Tell me what to.
I'm
going to
be getting together. I'm going to be doing a YouTube station because I find some really awesome stuff, and I want people to be able to see what
Dude, I think
what
you should.
encounter.
I really
Yeah,
think you should.
absolutely.
I'm thinking of doing that.
It's
So.
definitely not show it in my house because my
Yeah.
house won't have anything.
Yeah.
Because Freddie's gonna. I don't have anything, but I want to know what would be a trouble spot. You know, I don't have any problems, but I would like point out. Go. This
Sure.
is not good. You should put stuff here, or you should do this. You should do that.
Right.
You know the pros and cons of like this is good. No shrubbery near the house. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that.
A lot
Yeah.
of conducive conditions are super important for integrated pest management. Get rid of the conducive conditions. Never have the pest issue in the first place.
There you go.
Awesome.
Well said.
Cool.
Freddie, this was like an amazing
Yeah,
show.
absolutely.
The longest show we've ever had.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
And
absolutely.
it has been the best horror story we've ever heard.
I could go on for
Dude.
hours, man.
Yeah.
I know we could.
yeah.
I know we could.
Well, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, my God,
I'll
yeah.
come back anytime you want.
Well, I
thank
appreciate
you,
it. You'll
buddy.
definitely be back for sure.
Great.
Yeah. Well, Jim, we learned way more than
What
we
a
needed to.
show.
So let's just call it quits right now.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you later.
We'll see everybody next week. Take care.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.